Hello and welcome back to episode 12 of Feed the Bees. My name's Sjin, and pull up a pew, welcome back to Honey Home Farm. I got a few things in mind this episode, some things that we're going to get through, so let's jump in. Again, I've been reading the comments section, and you guys have mentioned a couple of things. One of the big ones is some of you guys were a bit aggravated that the bees over here were not having a good time with these blocks that they needed to pollinate with. So with the white wool, you guys lightly suggested, it was a firm suggested, that I bury these blocks underground because that will make it easier for the bees to get to them. I hope they don't get upset because I'm breaking their blocks. There we go. Wait, oh no, they're flying away. So that's something I can do. Certainly with these clay bees. In fact, it comes to mind that I haven't actually done anything with my honeycomb for a long time. We've got all these bees waiting out here, just doing their thing. The truth is, we're not doing anything with the honey that we're making, so we need to do something about that. We need to start automating our honey so that we're actually getting this stuff out of the hives. Because at the moment, it's kind of going to waste. The bees are having a good time. They're living their best life. They're like free-range bees. Actually, I wonder if is that a thing in real life? Do you get free-range bees? I guess they're all free-range because you don't really put bees in cages, although I'd like to see a bee cage. That'd be kind of weird. I can imagine they probably do it in Russia. They cage everything in Russia. Except, of course, tyrants. So I'm going to leave these flowers as is because the bees can fly through the flowers. But for things like the... Wait, why are these guys disappearing on me? What's wrong with dudes? Oh, you guys have done me a mischief. I buried the pollination blocks and my bees have beed off. Come back here, bee. Your block's over here. Maybe they're just confused. We'll wait and see for the time being. Actually, did I ever make a honey dipper? Honey dipper, okay, so this is super easy to make. I don't think I have one. Boom! Okay, so let's see if this actually works. See if you guys were lying to me. I don't think you were. You guys would never lie to me, right? Actually, before we use the honey dipper, I want to show you guys, so you guys also mentioned I should use smokers and blast furnaces. So I've rejigged my setup here. I converted some of the furnaces into smokers, some of them into blast furnaces, and then 2 normal furnaces in the middle. And I can use this to put some of the beef that I collected. Mouton. Where's le boeuf? There we go, 31 beef. And I think I've probably got some food over here that we might be able to cook. And there we go. So let's see how these smokers work. They're supposed to be like normal furnaces, but twice as quick. Raw beef. Oh yeah, that's real quick. Amazing. I'll put a bit more coal in here. And now let's try another one with some raw mouton. Oh, they look pretty cool as well, these smokers. I bet when the lights go down and the smokers turn on, they have a really nice warm glow. Okay, let's try some new foods. A cooked chicken, delicious. Rotten flesh, not so delicious. But it's a food, so we've got to try it. And okay, right, so these bees are doing their job. They are looking at this stuff underground now and using it properly. But let's try this honey dipper and see what happens. Mason bee has been selected. And if I right-click on this hive position for Mason bee has been set to here. Oh, perfect. Amazing. So we can get the RGBs here. You guys go there. Oh, that one disappeared on me. That's going to come in very, very useful. So I'm going to keep my honey dipper on me. And when I make my bee love hotel to start the breeding, we can use hives and these honey dippers to make it much, much easier. Okay, well, time to smoke it up, my friends, and get some honeycomb. So you guys also mentioned that I can bury campfires underneath these hives, and the campfires will send smoke up. They'll go through the hives, and the hives will be permanently smoked, and that will make gathering honey much easier. However, we're not really kind of gathering enough honey out of these yet, so it's not really worth it. It's a cool trick, but I don't want to bother making campfires because the smoker works just fine. Maybe when our smoker runs out of juice, I might change that. Also, something I wanted to ask you guys at home, put this in the comments section, but I'm not sure if my UI is too small. You see the icons at the bottom? Well, if you're not watching this full screen on a television, that might be really hard to see, especially if some of you guys are watching on your phones. So I'm thinking, is maybe bumping up the UI, where is it? is this GUI scale a bit better? It's a bit bigger, it's a bit easier to see what's going on. Is that the one you want? I feel like it probably is. I'm going to stick with this for a while. Let me know in the comment section whether this is better or if you want me to go back to smaller. But I've got a theory that you guys are going to like it being much bigger and able to see it. Okay, so another big question that we've got is what to do with the AllTheModium ore that we have. Oh man, my UI is so much bigger. You can really see what's going on actually. This is going to be amazing. What we're going to do, and this is what I like to use this list on the left for, we're going to find a way to turn the 2 AllTheModium ore that we've got, we're going to try and find a way to turn that into a lot more bars. We can probably turn that into 6 bars, which is what we're going to need if we're going to make the most out of it. And so I hear you say, how do you do that? Well, we're going to use Mekanism to triple our ore. There's 2 reasons why we're going to use Mekanism. Number 1, I think it's kind of the easiest way to triple ore. You can use create, but you don't get exactly triple. In fact, you get a little bit less. Also, another thing with Mekanism is you can use it to get a jetpack, which is going to make my building much easier. You may have noticed, I mean, I haven't mentioned the Tower of Power and what we built on top of that. I'll go over there in a minute and we can maybe look at that. But it made me realize, building all this stuff has made me realize that without flight, building is actually a real pain in the bum. So what I want to do is make a jetpack so that I can build much, much easier. And that'll make much grander projects more possible. So we're going to need to go into Mekanism. And not only how we're going to go into Mekanism, but where. And I've kind of cordoned off this area behind the bees over here. This is a temporary bee farm. We'll do the real bees over there somewhere. We've got a little bit of space here in the forest. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig out like an area that we're going to put our Mekanism lab. I always think that Mekanism as a mod, it's really cool, it's really tech, and it really fits with the whole lab aesthetic. So white walls and that kind of thing. So let's just use our shovel here and give ourselves a nice big space to work with, because this is where we're going to put our laboratory. So this is where this item thing on the left comes in really handy. If you press A on an item, you can remove it from this list, or if you press A on an item over here, you can add it to this list on the left. So if I hover over this and press A, boom, Eternal Stellar appears on the left. And this is just a great way of bookmarking recipes that you want to use in future. So Eternal Stellar, boom, and then we can click it and it'll come straight up. Very useful. And we're going to do that with Mekanism. And there's a few things from Mekanism that we need to kind of know how to make on the fly. So we're going to put a wind generator on that list, a gas burning generator, which we'll need, an electrolytic separator, that's something we'll need. We'll need pumps, definitely. Metallurgic infusers, they're an important one. Purification chamber, yes. Energized smelter, yes. Enrichment chamber, yes. And I believe that's actually it. Oh, amazing, another heart. Man, actually, eating all these foods is a really great way of just getting our survivability up. However, getting some proper armor, that's going to be a much better way of doing it. So we'll need some marble and some wood to get this Mekanism bad boy built. I'll just grab that up. And we're going to be using birch logs because I have an abundance of birch. So a quick mining trip should yield us everything that we need. We're going to be looking for some marble because that nice white block texture will make it look like a lab that we're putting our Mekanism stuff into. But we're also, again, going to need some osmium and a few little ingots of things here and there. Maybe some gold. Gold is important for Mekanism, but definitely. Also iron as well. We're going to need a lot of iron. Cool. Yeah, real Okay, so mission mostly accomplished. I've got some ores, some copper, some osmium, some iron, and some redstone. All the things I'll need to go forwards with all the mods, but I'm also going to need a few other things, mostly for the building. Now the lab is going to go here, and we've kind of got an area underneath the floor, because when you're doing like a lab like this, you kind of want to leave some space under the floor for where you can put things like cables, pipes, and wires. Because everything needs power, everything needs items, and some things need fluids as well. So you kind of really want to build with infrastructure in mind when you're building a kind of lab like this. In fact, sometimes what can be a great idea as well is just to give the floor beneath your lab a way to get to it, like we are. There we go, and that's about as big as we're going to make it for the time being. I could make it a bit bigger. It's a bit tight at the moment, but the truth is, it would take me so long to do that, I kind of got a bit impatient. I really want to get my ores doubling, tripling, straight away. And so I'm going to go underneath, I'm going to put down some torches, because... Oh, whoops. I'm going to put down some torches just because this area is big enough for monsters to spawn, and we don't want to give ourselves like a bit of a monster party happening down here. So there we go, that should be okay. And now let's talk about the mechanism things we need to get our ores tripling. So you have raw ore that gets mixed with oxygen in a purification chamber. Then that turns it into clumps, 3 clumps. You crush those 3 clumps, they then become 3 dirty dust. That's 1 ore into 3 dirty dust. You put the 3 dirty dust in the enrichment chamber, that turns them into 3 normal dust, and then you smelt those dusts into 3 ingots. And that, my friends, is how you turn 1 piece of ore into 3 ingots. Seems pretty simple. All we need is a bit of power and a few machines. So let's get started. So step 1 begins over in the basement. We're going to make some metallurgic infusers because they're what Mekanism needs to start creating some of the Mekanism-specific ingredients. Metallurgic infuser, and that requires furnaces, osmium, iron, and redstone. Right, so here we go, a metallurgic infuser. Bam. We're going to need 2 of these. One with coal in it and one with redstone. In fact, Mekanism is actually a really great way to make steel, which is coal and iron. We're also going to need something to power these bad boys. So we're going to start things off pretty basic and use a heat generator. And this, as stage 1, is just going to get us where we need to be in terms of getting power for our other things. All right, good morning, lads. So we're going to head over to where our Mekanism setup is going on. Oh, yeah, nice big flat area. And we're going to put down a couple of these things that we built. A metallurgic infuser and the heat generator. So we're going to have the ore tripling process all the way along this side here. So it's going to go from right to left. And over here, we're going to have some metallurgic infusers powered by a heat generator. Go on, do one. So we'll put some wood in there for the moment, just to see how that works. And it's not providing power to these ones next to it. Man, getting started with Mekanism is not easy, so we need some cables to power these bad boys. But we can't get the cables until we've got the metallurgic infusers plugged in. So we're going to just do some jimmying here. I'm a big fan of jimmying. If I ever meet a guy called Jimmy, I'm probably going to love him because I love doing him so much. But what we're going to do is we're going to just dig up this heat generator and we're going to pull a sneaky and we're going to plug it in behind like this. And there we go. Because they're now touching tips, that means this thing's being provided with energy. So we can make some steel here if we want, or more importantly, we can put in some redstone and make some infused alloy. All we need now is something with a burn time to put into the heat generator. So let's go and see what we've got that we can get rid of. I think we've got a lot of logs and stuff. So I mentioned earlier that we've messed with our Tower of Power. We built it up a bit. We added some decorations. I added a couple of water wheels and an extra layer on top. And we've also got like a weird kind of cuckoo clock up there. Because what you can do in Create mod, there is a block called a clock. A clockwork bearing, and this is how it works. You attach blocks in front of it and it spins based on the time of day. And you can have an hour and a minute's hand. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a big clock up on our clock tower that's going to show us what time of day it is. I think that's a perfect idea on a farm. So we can always look up and say, oh, it's this o'clock, we've got to go home, have some sleep. So can we cook sugarcane in here? No, no sugarcane and a heat generator, which kind of makes sense. Wait a minute, what's going on here? These logs kind of suck. Oh my god, we just went through like 2 stacks of logs. That's insane. What about coal? Coal is honestly not that much better. So you know what? This generator is so awkward to use. The first thing we're going to build, 100%, is going to be one of the windmill generators from Mekanism. One of these bad boys. They're not too tricky to build, and building one will mean we don't actually have to worry about filling things into our heat generator. So we're going to need a couple more infused alloy, and we're going to need to metallurgic infuse an osmium ingot. So one of these, oh, it uses so much power. Please stop, slow down. I haven't got much of this. Oh, hey presto, we have a wind generator, finally. Whew. Okay, the system can be allowed to breathe. So we're just going to put the windmill for the time being there. In future, we'll put it somewhere much, more reasonable, like out to sea or on the roof or something, because these things generate more power the higher up they are. So we're going to use the steel dust, we're going to smelt these into bars, and then we're going to make some cable, hook everything up, and get everything powered. Universal cable from Mekanism is a really cool cable. I love it. It's one of my favorite cables. In these mod packs, there's always a million different ways to get power from one place to the other. Every single mod has its own kind of cable. Some of them don't work with different machines, but I find the Mekanism ones, they look good, they're easy to make, they're quite cheap, and they function with a lot of things. So they're all around great baseline cable. Bam, 8. I could even make 16. That will come in handy. And now let's plug these bad boys in. Ho, 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 ho. And watch the power go oh man, yeah, straight up. This wind generator is insane. So much better. Renewables are so much better. It's the way the world should be going, for sure. So let's plug some of the other things in so we can get going. I'm going to put this cable around the edge. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. So have we got enough to make a crusher? We've got the steel casing in the bag. 2 buckets of lava. We'll need 4 redstone. Why did I not bring any redstone? I think I turned it all into the metallurgic infuser. Okay, let's get some more redstone, and then we're good to go with the crusher. And there we go, the crusher. Now this is a very important piece of kit. We're going to leave our metallurgic infusers here because we're going to need 2 for coal. That's going to make the steel. We're going to need 1 for redstone, 1 for diamond, 1 for obsidian, and then we can move on to our other pieces of machinery, like the crusher. But for now, we're just going to toss this iron ore in here. Where did I put it? Wait, what? You got power. Crusher, crush the ore. Can you not crush iron ore? Wait, what? You're joking. You've got to be kidding me. Oh no, I've got to use an enrichment chamber. Oh no. Oh, how do I make an enrichment chamber? It's not too bad. We'll need some more steel, more iron, more of all of the above. Oh. We could have made an enrichment chamber right now. Well, there's no point crying over spilled milk, so let's go and make some more iron. So let's try that again. Let's make the enrichment chamber. We'll need some steel and the rest of it. Steel casing, 2 iron ingots, redstone that we've got. Yeah, we should have all the things we need for this once the steel is made. Enrichment chamber, that's the one. So we need to make the steel casing. Then we need to make the chamber itself, Chamber of Secrets. Now, in the ore tripling process, this goes after the crusher, so we're going to move these things around to the right where they're going to be eventually. The enrichment chamber is going to go here, and the crusher is going to go to the left of it. So what we do is we put the iron ore in here, and that is going to make iron ore dust. One ore is going to make 2 dust, and then we smelt the 2 dust, and we get 2 ingots. So we have just created a setup that is going to double our ore. Now this took a little bit longer than expected, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the episode there and take a think about how I want to plan out this Mekanism lab. And maybe get some of that built. Oh my god, these guys are in my way. Go on, shoot. I've got a sword, okay, dude? I will use my sword. He doesn't care, does he? Man, and with a nose that big, I wouldn't care either. So thank you for watching. Hit like and subscribe. Consider becoming a member. Don't forget to drop a comment in the comments section to give me some tips. Let me know how you feel about the series, or just let me know how your day's going. And until next time, take care.